Om Gananaam Tva Ganapatigum Havamahe Kavim Kavinam Upamashravastamam Yeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspata Anakshrinvannoti Biksi Dasadanam Prano Devi Saraswati Vaje Birvajinivati Dinam Avitragavato Ganeshaya Namaha Saraswatyai Namaha Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Haraha Om Shri Mahaganaadhipataye Namaha Sadashiva Samarambam Shri Kantaradhya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Sadashivam Shivam Skandam Keshavam Padmasambhavam Nandishwaram Kumbhayonim Bharadvajatri Gautaman Namostu Gurave Nityam Shri Kanta Shiva Yogine Shruti Sara Shiva Vishishtadvaita Parabhashya Vidayine Jagadguru Shri Renukacharya Mangalam Dehi Prabho Samba Shivaya Namaha Samba Shivaya Namaha Samba Shivaya Namaha. So we saw just to provide a quick recap of the lectures 1 and 2 that we saw last week. So in lecture 1 of Atharvashiras, we saw the importance of human life, how there are like 84 lakh species available in Brahma's creation, and how getting a human birth is very, very valuable. How the humans alone have the sixth sense, and one should utilize the sixth sense in knowing about who is God. And we saw who is God, that is Mahadeva Samba Shiva, and how to do prapatti, different ways of doing prapatti or surrender to him. We saw that in the first class, and we also saw what is moksha, and we covered about the some minute description of the Vedas, of our scriptures, Vedas, Agamas, Upanishads, Itihasas, and Smritis, and the Puranas and Upa Puranas. And of all, Karanagama, chapter 8, verse 4 says, Vidyasu Shrutirutkrishta Rudra Ekadashini Shrutau Tatra Panchaksharas Tatra Shiva Iti Nama Dvaya Aksharam. Of all the knowledges, the Shruti or the Vedas is the highest. And in the Veda is actually Rudram is the highest of all. Rudram, because it is in the center of the Vedas. And within the Rudram is Panchakshara Mantram. Tatra Panchaksharas Tatra. Namah Shivaya is the exalted of all. And within that Namah Shivaya is Shiva. Just by chanting Shiva Shiva, one can get rid of all the sins. And just by chanting Shiva Shiva, one can acquire the post of even Indra, Brahma and Vishnu. So that's what it says. And we saw how Rudram is very, very important, which is in the center of the Vedas. And coming to the Upanishads, we saw Atharvashiras, which is one of the oldest Upanishads. We saw about how by chanting the Atharvashiras Upanishad, it is equivalent to chanting almost Rudram 100,000 times. That is the glory of the Atharvashiras Upanishad. And if you want to understand the Vedas, you will have to depend on the Puranas or Smritis, because Upa Brahmanam is when there is a section that you want to understand in the Veda, there should be a supporting fact that should be present in the Puranas. That's how you can understand the Vedas. So we saw almost like 25 Upa Brahmanams. In the second class, we saw like 25 to 26 Upa Brahmanams supporting facts from the Smritis, Puranas and Itihasas, conveying the message that Atharvashiras Upanishad is chanted only for Mahadeva and not anybody else. We saw those supporting facts. And in this class, we'll be covering the Upa Brahmanam that is told in the Suta Samhita, first canto, second chapter. And also parallelly, we'll be looking at the Atharvashiras Upanishad also. So starting off, in the beginning of the second chapter, in the very first chapter of Suta Samhita, Suta Maharishi describes the various Puranas and Itihasas available and Upa Puranas available, the compilations made by Veda Vyasa. And in the very second chapter itself, he starts off with that Paashupata Vratam, which is the essence of the Vedas and Upanishads. All the rishis ask Suta Maharishi. Everything starts off with a question. If you see the Upanishads, in the beginning they start off with a question. Ashvalayana Maharshi asks Brahma, Paratparam Purusham Yati Vidwan, how to attain that supreme of the supreme. Paratparam is the supreme of the supreme. How to attain that supreme of the supreme Purushas, who is the ultimate reality. Mundaka Upanishad starts like that. Atharvashika also starts like that. Paipalada Maharshi questions Atharvana Maharshi. And all the Upanishads, if you see, Kalagni Rudra Upanishad, all the Dasha Upanishads start off with a question. How to attain the supreme? Who is that supreme divine reality? And how to surrender to him? That's how it starts off. So like that, in this Suta Samhita, second chapter also, the rishis ask Suta Maharishi, Utpannam kena chittasmat anityam cha tatak pashuhu agnyatvanaiva hetuh syannacha prakritirevacha. They ask him, who is the cause of all causes? Who is actually doing this creation and maintenance and destruction of this entire universe? It cannot be the Pashu. It cannot be the Jiva. So who is? It cannot be the Prakriti also. The Jagat cannot manifest by itself. It is not Big Bang theory. So there is a divine reality who is maintaining this Jiva and Jagat. Ishavasyam idagam sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagattena tyaktena bunjita ma gridah kasyasvid dhanam. Ishavasya Upanishad verse 1. All the animate Jivas, inanimate, the world, Jada, Jiva and Jada, are in the control of that Samba Shiva Maheshwara. And then they ask him to Suta Maharshi, it cannot be the Pashu, it cannot be the Jiva. Jiva cannot be the cause. The Prakriti, the world cannot manifest by itself. So who is the cause? They put forth the question to Suta Maharshi. And then Suta Maharshi replies, Pura Vishnavadayo Devak Sarve Sambhuya Karanam Vicharya Jagato Viprak Samshaya Vishtachetasaha Ativa Sukadam Shuddham Raudram Lokam Samagaman Tesham Madhye Mahadevak Samsara Dravako Haraha Rudrah Paramakarunya Swagam Avirbhut Vijaha. So Suta Maharshi starts quoting a story. The Devas, along with Brahma, Vishnu and Indra, they had the same question. Who is the cause of all causes? How to surrender to him? And then it describes they went to Parakailasha, Mahakailasha. And now a question comes, how can that Parakailasha, which is completely spiritual, can be manifested to the Devas who are material in nature? We saw the Devas are bound to destruction. Brahma, Vishnu, Indra, Munayor, Janma, Mrityu, Jaraditaha. They are material in nature. And how can that Parakailasha be manifested to the Devas who are material in nature? We saw that Vishnu in Padma Purana, Patala Kanda, 114th chapter, 189th verse, says, Maya Varsha Sagasram tu Sagasrabdam Tatanvaham Bhaktya Sampujito Pisha Pado no Darshitastvaya. Oh Mahadeva, I have been searching for your feet for thousands and crores of years. You have not manifested that to me. Padma Purana and Narada Purana says this. And I'll give you the reference in Narada Puranam also. He says that. I've been searching. It has not been manifested. We saw Vyakta and Avyakta. Avyakta means unmanifest. Vyakta means manifest. Something that can be seen through the material eyes. Mahadeva is Avyakta. He is completely spiritual. And the same has been told in Narada Puranam, Purva Bhagam, 79th chapter, 139th verse. Varshakoti Sagasram tu Sagasrabdai Atanvaham Bhaktya Sampuj Pisha Pado no Darshitastvaya. Vishnu says that to Para Shakti and Paramashiva. Thousands and crores of years I've been searching for your feet. You have not manifested that to me. And also Pancha Brahma Upanishad says, Adavantecha Madhyecha Basase Nanya Hetuna Mayaya Mohitaha Shampor Mahadevam Jagadgurum Na Jananti Suraha Sarve Sarvakarana Karanam. He is the cause of all causes. Na Sandrishe Tishtati Rupamasya Paratparam Purusham Vishvatama. That form of that Paratpara Purusha, the supreme of the supreme, Purushovai Rudraha, that supreme reality, that form of the supreme reality cannot be seen with the material eyes. The same with this world, Parakailasha, cannot be seen with material eyes. Yoga Tattva Upanishad, verses 98 to 101. Vyoma Vrittam cha Dhumram cha Hakarakshara Basuram Akashe Vayum Aropya Hakaropari Shankaram Bindurupam Mahadevam Vyomakaram Sadashivam Shuddhaspatika Sankasham Dritabalendo Maulinam Panchavaktra Yutam Saumyam Dashabahum Trilochanam Sarva Yudair Dritakaram Sarva Bhushana Bhushitam Umarda Deham Varadam Sarvakarana Karanam. See, is described the form, beautiful form of Mahadeva is described in the Yoga Tattva Upanishad verses 98 to 101, and also it is told in Yoga Yajnavalkya Smriti chapter 8 verses 22 to 25. He represents that Akasha, ether, Brahma, Narayana, Rudra, Maheshwara, Samba Shiva, and beyond that is Paramashiva. And it is described, the beautiful form of Mahadeva is described, Bindurupam Mahadevam Vyomakaram Sadashivam Shuddha Spatika Sankasham. He is described as crystal white in color, camphor white in color. Dhrita Balendu Maulinam, he has a beautiful Chandra on his head. Panchavaktra, he is described as five-faced. Saumya, he is so beautiful. Dashabahum, he is described as having 10 hands. Trilochanam, in each face he has 3 eyes, so he has 15 eyes. Sarva Yudair Dritakaram Sarva Bhushana Bhushitam. He is described as having all sorts of divine qualities, characteristics, divine qualities and divine attributes. Spiritual attributes, completely transcendental. Pushan Ekarshe Yamasurya Prajapatya Vyuharashmin Samoha Tejoyatte Rupam Kalyanatamam. All sorts of Kalyana Gunangal are present in Mahadeva. Ishavasya Upanishad verse 16. So, Umarda Dekam, and then it says, Yoga Tattva Upanishad says, Umarda Dekam, Umarda Dekha, Umarda Vigraha, Umapati, Uma Nata, Uma Ramana. These names are present in the Shiva Sahasranama. He is sharing half of his body with Uma Mahima Vatim, Uma Pataye, Ambika Pataye, Uma Sahayam Parameshwaram Prabham. So many places. Varadam, he is also giving boons. And Sarvakarana Karanam, he is the cause of all causes. Mundaka Upanishad, 3rd canto, 1st chapter, 3rd verse. Yada Pashyaha Pashyate Rukmavarnam Kartaram Isham Purusham Brahmayonim Tada Vidvan Punyapape Viduya Niranjanaha Paramam Samyam Upaiti. He is described as golden, in golden complexion, Rukmavarnam. He is described as golden in 12th chapter, 122nd verse of Manusmriti. In Mundaka Upanishad, Hiranmaye Pare Koshe. In Mahanarayana Upanishad. In Kena Upanishad. In Ishavasya Upanishad. Chandogya Upanishad. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Taittiriya Upanishad. Basmajabala Upanishad. Brihajabala Upanishad. I've given all the references in the previous lectures. Also, you can refer that in my channel. The beautiful complexion of Mahadeva. I've given a 10-minute video where I have given all the references. So he is described as golden everywhere in the Shastras. Kartaram Isham, he is the cause of all causes. Purusham, Purusho vai Rudraha. Brahma Yonim, he is the cause of Brahma, Vishnu and Indra. Tada Vidvan, when you get knowledge, when the knowledge of that Paratpara, supreme reality, that golden Purusha, Mahadeva, arises in your heart, then you get rid of the Punya and Papa. You get rid of the sins and virtues and you go beyond and go and reach him, Parakailasha, and serve him eternally. Niranjanaha Paramam Samyam Upaiti. You get that Sarupyam of Mahadeva and there is no return. Nacha punaravartate, nacha punaravartate. There is no return. Anavrittish Shabdat. And then Shvetashvatara Upanishad, 6th verse, 6th chapter, 9th verse. Na tasya kaschit Patirasti loke na cheshita naivacha tasya lingam sa karanam karanadi padipo na chasya kaschid janita na chadipaha. And then he describes Shvetashvatara Upanishad, he has no master in this entire universe. Anishwara, there is no Ishvara for him. He is the Ishvara for everybody. Ultimate Ishvara, Parameshvara, Paratpara Ishvara, no ruler. And there is nothing that is greater than him. Eko Rudro Nadvitiyaya. He is the cause of all causes. And he is without a progenitor or controller. We see everything manifests from Mahadeva only. It is described. Somak pavate janita matinam janita divo janita prituvyaha janita agner Janita Suryasya Janitendrasya Janitota Vishnoho. He is the begetter of Brahma, Vishnu, Indra, Agni, Varuna, Vayu, everybody. Rigvedam says that. 996.5, 9th canto, 96th chapter, 5th verse. The same is quoted in the Bhasmajabala Upanishad. Avastha Tritiyatitam Turiyam Brahma Samhitam Brahma Vishnavadibihi Sevyam Sarvesham Janakam Param. He gives Janakam, he gives birth to Brahma, Vishnu and Indra. There is no cause for him. He is the cause of all causes. We saw Sarva Karana Karanam very often comes in the Upanishads and the Smritis for Mahadeva. And Atharvashika, third, Karanam Karananam Gyata Karanam tu Dhyeyaha Sarvaishwarya Sampannaha Shambhurakasha Magye. He represents that Akasha, ether. Karanam Karananam Gyata. The cause of all causes is not the meditator, but the cause of all causes should be meditated upon by all the jivas, beginning from the blade of a grass till Vishnu. And he is the giver of prosperity to everybody. Sarvaishwarya Sampannaha Shambhurakasha Madhye Shiva Ekodhyeyaha Sarvadhyana Yoga Jnananam Yatphalam Omkaro Veda Para Ishova Shiva Ekodhyeyaha Shivam Karaha Sarvamanyat Parityajya Samasta Atharvashikaita Maditya Dvijo Garbhavasad Vimukto Vimuchyata Eta Maditya Dvijo Garbhavasad Vimukto Vimuchyata Iti Satyam Upanishad. Atharvashika ends by saying this. That Mahadeva, who is the cause of all causes, alone should be meditated upon. Asmin Brahmapura Veshma Takram Yedidam Mune Pundarikam Dutan Madhye Akasho Dakarosti Tat. He should be meditated in the Kritayakasha, Daharakasha, Pancha Brahma Upanishad. Brahma Gita also says the same thing in Suta Samhita. So, we see that how can that Paratpara Purusha, how can that Parakailasha, which is completely divine, Dinakrit Koti Sankasham Sthanam Adyam Umapatehe. That Parakailasha is described as beyond the lokas of Brahma, Vishnu and Indra and Skanda and Devi. That is the highest of the highest worlds, completely spiritual. How can that be manifested to the material devas? That's where we have the answer. Mahadeva is lying in the heart of all the living entities. We see that. So when the Pashu or the Jiva starts thinking, okay, all these things are temporary. We see that everything in this world is temporary. We saw that in the first class. Name, fame, wealth, knowledge, beauty, power. Everything is temporary. Everything is for a short term. A man looks at a beautiful woman. He gets attracted. I want to get married to her. And I want to beget kids with her. But how long the beauty is going to long last? It is not eternal. It is temporary. When the human body itself is perishable, it's going to go into ashes. Vayur anilam amritam atetam basmantam shariram. 17th verse of Ishavasya Upanishad. That's why we apply the basma. That one day this body is going to go into ashes. But the soul, as Atma, we are eternal. And the Atma's, the ultimate duty of the Jivatma is to serve the Paramatma, that is Mahadeva. So nothing is eternal. This world is also not eternal. When the Jiva comes to that conclusion, it starts doing Shiva Vicharam. When the Pashu starts traveling, has decided to travel towards Pashupati, then Mahadeva, who is residing in the heart of all the living entities, Mahadeva, who is residing in the heart of the Jiva, sends a proper guru from an authorized Shaiva Sampradaya. And that's where here Devas do Vicharam. Who is the cause of all causes? And Mahadeva, who is residing, Devanagam Kratagebhyo. Rudram says, Devanagam Kratagebhyo, Devanagam Kratagebhyo, Nama Vikshinakebhyo, Nama Vichinvatkebhyo, Nama Anirhatebhyo, Nama Ami Vatkebhyaha. 9th Anuvakam ends by saying, Devanagam Kratagebhyo. He is in the heart of all the Devas also, Brahma, Vishnu and Indra. So by knowing that, and then he manifests that Parakailasha, which cannot be seen with material eyes to the Devas. And also, he appears in front of them. That spiritual Mahadeva, Shuddha Spatika Sankasha, Hiranyabhakave, Hiranyavarna, who is described as golden in complexion, who is completely divine in qualities, attributes and characteristics, appears in front of the Devas. And then he says, Suta Samhita, Ahameko Jagat Vaturasam Pratamam Ishvaraha Vartamicha Bhavishyami Namattonyosti Kaschana Man Maya Shakti samkliptam jagat sarvam characharam sapi mattak pritag vipra nastyeva paramartatah mamevam vedavakyebhyo janatyacharya purvakam yah pashu sa vimuchyeta jnanadvedanta vakyajat ityuktva bhagavan rudrak swam purnam rupa mavishat napashyanta tato rudram deva Vishnu Purogamaha. It describes, Mahadeva says, I am the supreme of the supreme. I am the cause of all causes. Mahadeva manifests himself in front of the Devas and then he says, I am the cause of all causes. There is nothing that is superior to me. There is nothing that is greater than me. I am the Pratama Ishvara. Agriyaya Pratamayacha Nama Ashavecha Jirayacha. It says, he is the cause of, he is the first. There is nothing that is Purvam to Mahadeva. Purvajayacha Parajayacha. He alone was present before all the Devas, Brahma, Vishnu and Indra. And he says, I am the first cause. And then one Maya Shakti. Through my Maya Shakti, this Jagat is actually manifested. Through my power, it is manifested. Mayam tu Prakritam Vidya, Mayinam tu Maheshwaram. Maya is under the control of Maheshwara. Everybody is affected by Shiva Maya. Even Brahma, Vishnu and Indra and all the Jivas are revolving in that Shiva Maya, Tirobhavam. Maheshwara is in charge of the Tirobhavam. And then everybody are affected by that, but not Samba Shiva. And then he says, one can understand me through all the Vedavakyas and one should recite the Atharvashiras Upanishad. One can understand me, or the Pashu can attain me by having the knowledge of the Vedanta Vakyas. And then they look at the divine form of Mahadeva and then he disappears from there. And also this has been mentioned in detail in the Atharvashiras Upanishad. Let's take a look at that. Sobravit ahamekah pratamam masam vartami cha bhavishyami cha nanyah kaschin matto yatirikta iti sontar adantaram pravishat vishashchantaram pravishat soham nityam nitya anityoham vyakta avyakto brahmaham pranchaha pratyanchoham dakshinancha udanchoham adaschordvam chaham dishascha pratidishaschaham puman apuman striyamschaham gayatyaham savitri aham Trishtub jagat Yanushtub chaham chandoham garkapatyoham dakshinagnir aham ahavaniyoham satyoham gauryaham rig aham yajur aham sama aham atharvangirasoham yeshtoham shreshtoham varishtoham apoham tejoham grihyoham aranyoham aksharamaham ksharamaham pushkaramaham pavitramaham Ugram cha madhyam cha bahischa. He says, he goes on by saying, I am the eternal non-eternal. We saw that. Vyakta avyakta. Vyakta vyaktaya vai namaha. Nitya nityaya vai namaha. Chintya chintyaya vai namaha. He is the manifest and unmanifest. We saw what is the meaning of manifest and unmanifest. Manifest is something that can be seen through the material eyes. Unmanifest, Mahadeva's form is unmanifest, which cannot be seen through material eyes. Na sandrishay dishtati rupamasya paratparam purusham vishwadana. And he also represents the north, east, south and western quarters. He is also called as Digambara. He has the north, east, south and west directions as his dress. Dashak prachir, dasha dakshina, dasha pradirchair, dashotirchair, dashordvastebhyo namaste no mradayantateyam vishnayashchana dveshtitam vojambe dadami. Rudram, 11th Anuvakam, 10th verse says, he is actually present everywhere. He is present in the north, east, south, west, and he is also present in the Antariksha, Akasha, Bhumi, everywhere. That's what Mahadeva also says here. And then, I am man and woman, Puman, Stri. I am Gayatri. He says that I am Gayatri. He says, Om Bhur Bhuva Suvaha तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्. We saw how Bharga means the remover of all the sins. The Bharga word is applied only for Mahadeva in the Shastras. It comes in the Shankara Samhita Asura Kandam chapter 6 verse 53. Bharga word is used for Mahadeva. In the Shiva Ashtottaram also, Bhujanga Bhushano Bhargo Giridanva Giripriyaha. Shiva Ashtottaram, which is sung by Narayana in the Shankara Samhita, the 64th name of Lord Shiva is Bharga. And Bharga is used to refer to Mahadeva and also in the Vishwamitra Smriti. It says, Vishwamitra Smriti says, Tat Savituhu Brahmatmane Angushtabhyam Namaha Varenyam Vishnavatmane Tarjanibhyam Swaha Pargo Devasya Rudratmane Madhyamabhyam Vashat Dhimahi Ishwaratmane Anamikabhyam Hum Diyo Yonas Sadashivatmane Kanishtikabhyam Vaushat Prachodayat Paramatmane Karatalakara Prashtabhyam Fat. It says, see, Brahma, Narayana, Rudra. Rudra is referred to as Bharga, and then Ishvara, and then Samba Shiva, and then beyond that is Paramatma, that is Paramashiva. Pancha Krityani Yantaram, Pancha Brahmatmakam Prigat, Pancha Brahmopa Samharam, Krutva Svatmani Samstitaha. After doing, he is the doer of 5 activities: creation, maintenance, destruction, putting the jivas into illusion, and also giving grace. He does all the 5 activities. And still he exists. Even after doing the 5 activities, he still exists. That is Paramatma, that is Paramashiva, who is present in the Parakailasha or Mahakailasha, which is the highest of highest, which is the highest of the highest worlds. And then after that, all the Devas, Mahadeva disappears from there. After saying that one should surrender unto me, and one should recite the Veda Vakyas, and then he disappears from there. And then all the Devas, including Indra, Brahma and Vishnu, who saw the divine Mahadeva, it says, Suta Maharishi says, Atharvashirasa Devam Astuvam Chordva Bahavaha Anyair Nanavidai Suktai Shrimat Panchaksharainacha. They say Atharvashiras. They started chanting the hymns in the Atharvashiras Upanishad. With hands raised upwards. Urdhva Bahu. This is the way that you have to worship Mahadeva. It is also described by Haradatta Sivacharya. In the Natya Shastra, the sign for worshipping Mahadeva is to raise one's hands upwards. Urdhva Bahu. Urdhva means upwards. Bahu means hands. One should keep his hands upwards, and then one should worship Mahadeva. We see Shvetashvatara Maharshi, Gautama Maharshi, Galava Maharshi, Brahma, Vishnu. They stand on one leg and then they keep their hands upwards and chant the Rudram and Panchakshara mantra. And it says they chanted all the Suktams and then Shrimat Panchakshara Inacha. They also chanted the Namah Shivaya Panchakshara mantra, which is the Maha mantra of all the, which is present in all the Vedas and Upanishads, and which is described as the highest of the highest mantras. Punak Sakshat Shivajnana Sidvayartam Munipungavaha Agnihotra Samutpannam Basmadaya Darenatu. It describes they apply ashes all over their body. Basmadaranam. And then Rudrakshadaranam, Tripundradharanam. Vidaya Patre Shuddhe Tatpadau Prakshalya Varinam. They took the Basma in a Patram. And then they recited the mantras Omapak Sarvamityetan Mantra Mucharya Bhaktitaha Omapo Jyotiraso Amritam Brahma Bhurbhuva Suvarom. Amritam Brahma. We saw Amritam. It refers to Mahadeva only in the Upanishads. Amrito Hiranmayaha. Saya Esho Antar Hridaya Akashaha Amrito Hiranmayaha. And then Vimurjya, it says Suta Samhita, Suta Maharishi says, Vimurjya mantrair jabalair agnirityadi saptabihi samahita diyak shuddha shivam dhyatva shivamapi samuddulya munishreshta apadatala mastakam. By thinking of that Mahadeva, they chanted the Atharvashiras mantras. We'll be going through that, what they chanted. And it is described that as described in the Jabala Upanishad, they recited the mantras for applying the bhasma all over their body. They meditated on Para Shakti and Paramashiva. Shivam Gyatva Shivamapi. Para Shakti and Paramashiva together they meditated upon, and then they did Uddulanam of the bhasma from the forehead till their feet. One should apply the bhasma in 32 places. Makuta Agama describes all over their body, Tripundra, and also in the forehead, ears, and also in the necks, and also in the back neck and then the front neck. Everywhere it should be applied. Sitena basmanatena brahmabhutena bhavanat lalate hridaye kukshau dordvandve cha surottamaha. See, lalate, hridaye, everywhere it should be applied. That's what it says, Tripundra dharanam. And then going to the Atharvashiras Upanishad, as actually Atharvashiras, when the Devas actually were, when Mahadeva described himself to be the supreme of the supreme, there is nothing that is superior to him, there is nothing that is greater than him. He is also saying, Jeshtoham Shreshtoham. Jeshta, he is the firstborn. He doesn't have birth, he is the first to appear. And there is nothing that is superior to him, there is nothing that is greater than him. Vamadeva Yanamo Jeshta Yanama Shreshta Yanamo, superior and the best of all. And he represents the water and the light. Yo Rudro Agnavyo Apsuya Oshadisha. He represents that water and Agni are his, the fire and water are his energies. And then he says, Guhyoham, I am protected and kept in secrecy. He says that. So, why? We see in Kali Yuga, the scale of Dharma is 1 out of 4. And Shiva Ninda only is happening all over. So, Mahadeva, to understand Mahadeva, it is very, very difficult. Only Mahadeva can understand Mahadeva. So, if you want to, and by only understanding him, one will cross the repeated cycles of birth and death. Yo Vedadaus Parak Prokto Vedante cha Pratishtitaha Tasya Prakriti Leenasya Yakparak Samaheshwaraha. That Omkara is represented by Mahadeva, and he is the essence of all, and he is Guhya. He should be kept in secrecy. And Upamanyu Maharshi in the Anushasana Parvam, 14th chapter, he says, one should not even pass a moment. One should not pass a moment in Kali Yuga without thinking of Mahadeva. One should always think of Mahadeva. Do Parashakti Paramashiva Smaranam always in Kali Yuga. That's what Upamanyu Maharshi says. And then, I alone exist, there is nothing that is equal to me. Eko Rudro Nadvitiyaya. Mahadeva says that. And then, as we described in the Suta Samhita, Suta Maharishi, parallelly here, the Devas recite beautiful hymns for Mahadeva. Yo vai rudrascha bhagavan yascha brahma tasmai vai namo namaha. Yo vai rudraksha bhagavan yascha vishnus tasmai vai namo namaha. Yo vai rudrascha bhagavan yascha indras tasmai vai namo namaha. You say, everything is your vibhuti, everything is your manifestation only, Mahadeva. We saw that Bhagavaha Shabdam is very, very specific for Mahadeva. 36 times that Bhagavan Shabdam is used only for Mahadeva in Atharvashiras Upanishad. 7 times it is used in Rudram. Om Namo Bhagavate Rudraya. Vikirida Vilohita Namaste Astu Bhagavaha. There are many, many places. Ayam me hasto Bhagavan, ayam me Bhagavattaraha, ayam me Vishvabe Shajoyagam Shivapi Marshanaha. It says, 7 places Bhagavaha Shabdam is used for Mahadeva. And Bhagavati also comes for Adi Parashakti. See, the Vedas proclaim Bhagavan as Mahadeva only. Sometimes in the Puranas, if you see, the Rishis, Brahma, Vishnu and Indra are also referred to as Bhagavan. But that is for namesake only. The real Bhagavan that is referred, the real Bhagavan according to the Vedas and Upanishads is Mahadeva only. It can apply. For example, if you see the end of this Upanishad, even Atharva Maharshi is also called as Bhagavan, because he gives that knowledge. Sometimes Indra and Brahma and Vishnu, they provide the knowledge of Paramashiva to the other jivas. And here Atharva Maharshi also provides the knowledge of Atharvashiras Upanishad. And that's why he is termed as Bhagavan. But the real Bhagavan is Mahadeva. The real Ishvara is Parameshwara. And the real Bhagavati and Ishwari is Parashakti. He goes on to say that Brahma, Vishnu, Indra, Skanda, Vayu, Surya, Soma, you represent Bhu, Bhuvaha, Suvaha, Prithvi, everything is represented by you only, Mahadeva. Yovai Rudrasa Bhagavan, Yovai Rudraksa Bhagavan, Yascha Tejas Tasmai Vai Namo Namaha. You are that ultimate supreme light. But we described just by meditating on the Jyoti, there is no point. Our meditation is said to be incomplete. Our knowledge will also be incomplete by meditating on the Jyoti. We saw that from the Padma Purana, Patala Kanda, 105th chapter. Meditating on the form of Mahadeva, who is the cause of the Jyoti. The Jyoti or the Brahma Jyoti comes from the body of that Samba Shiva, through which with the help of the Jyoti only Brahma, Vishnu and Indra function. And then he that spiritual formed Mahadeva is actually represents the Jyoti. He also represents Kala, Yama, Yamastasmai Vai Namo Namaha, Kalastasmai Vai Namo Namaha, Vishwam, he says, Yovai Rudraksa Bhagavan, Yatcha Vishwam Tasmai Vai Namo Namaha, Vishwam Bhutam, Bhuvanam Chitram, Bahudajatam Jagamanam Chagata, Sarvo Hyesha Rudrastasmai Rudraya Namo Asto. He represents that Vishwan, and also he is beyond the Vishwam. Vishvadipo Rudro Maharshiki. Yo Devanam Prabhavaschodbhavascha Vishvadipo Rudro Maharshihi. Shvetashvatara Upanishad and Mahanarayana Upanishad says that. And then it says Shuklam. Yo Vai Rudraksa Bhagavan Yatcha Shuklam Tasmai Vai Namo Namaha. Sukshmam Tasmai Vai Namo Namaha. Sukshma, he is present as actually in the form of a span in our Hridaya. He is the smallest of the smallest. And he is described as Kritsnam. Kritsnam means whole. There is not actually, he is not affected by any of the gunas. He is present as everything. And he alone can claim that. We cannot claim that. We Pashus cannot claim that. And even Indra, Brahma and Vishnu cannot claim that. He is represented as Satyam. Yovai Rudraksa Bhagavan Yatcha Satyam Tasmai Vai Namo Namaha. Radakam Satyam Param Brahma Purusham Krishna Pingalam Murdvaretam Virupaksham Vishwarupaya Vai Namo Namaha Satyam. He is truth personified. Sarvam. He is everything. Sarvo Vai Rudraha Purusho Vai Rudraha. These 32 places where actually Mahadeva is sung as Bhagavan. Yovai Rudraha, Yovai Rudraha, Yovai Rudraha Sa Bhagavan. This should be recited definitely. This was recited by the Devas in the Atharvashiras Upanishad. And parallelly, in Suta Maharishi describes how actually they prepare the Basma. Agniriti Basma, Vayuriti Basma, Jalamiti Basma, Stalamiti Basma, Vyometi Basma. It describes. So in that way, they prepare the Basma and then they apply all over their body and then they chant the Atharvashira mantras. This is the mantras that they chant. And evam kritva vratam deva atharvashirasi stitam shanta danta viraktascha tyaktva karmani suvrataha valagra matram vishvesham jataveda swarupinam. Very beautiful. It describes valagra matram. In the Shvetashvatara Upanishad, there is a beautiful verse in the 5th canto which describes that soul, the soul, Antaratma or Paramatma, is described as when you take a tip of a hair from your head and cut that into 100,000 pieces. And that is actually the size of that soul. He is in that form. We cannot even, that's why it's Sukshmam. It is not even microscope, even with a microscope you cannot view him. Sukshmam. It describes Sukshmam. Valagra matram. It says Shvetashvatara Upanishad. And here Suta Maharishi says this. Valagra matram vishvesham. Who is that personality that they meditated upon in their hearts? That's what he describes in the 20th verse. Valagra matram vishvesham. Jataveda swarupinam. Krit padma karnika madhye dhyatva veda vidam varaha. Jataveda. Jataveda se sunava maso mamarati yato nidahati vedaha sanah parshata didurgani vishva nave vasindum duritat yagnihi. Jataveda. That Adi Para Shakti is eternally with that Jataveda Maheshwara Krit Padma Karnika Madhye Dhyatva Veda Vidamaraha. They started meditating in their hearts. Who is that personality? It will be revealed now. Sarvajnam Sarvakartaram Samastadaram Adbhutam Pranavenaiva Mantrena Pujayamasu Rishwaram Atatesham Prasadartam Pashunam Patirishwaraha. That personality who is described as Sarvakarta, who is the cause of all causes, who is Sarvajna, who is the all knowledgeable personality, and who is Ishvara of all the Ishvaras, Pashunam Patirishvaraha, he is the Pati of all the Pashus. And how is he described? Umarda Vigraha Shriman, Somarda Kritashekaraha, Nilakanto Niradaro, Nirmalo Nirapallavaha, Brahma Vishnu Maheshanair, Rupasya Parameshwaraha. Umarda Vigraha, that Uma, he is eternally with that Uma, Parashakti. He is sharing half of his body with Parashakti. Uma Sahayam, see? Nila and Shriman, Somartha Kritashekaraha. We saw that in the Upanishads, how Samba Shiva is described in the Upanishads with a beautiful Chandra on the top, the Somartha Kritashekaraha. Nilakanto, he is also described as Nilakanta, blue-throated. How Nilagriva comes 6 times in Rudram. Shitikanta comes 3 times in Rudram. Nilakantam comes 2 times in the Vedas. Trilochanam Nilakantam Prashantam, Kaivalya Upanishad. Nilakantam Trinetram cha tanme manaha Shiva Sankalpamastu, Shiva Sankalpa Upanishad. That form is what is described here. That form should be meditated upon. That is the form that they were meditating on. Umarda Vigraha Shriman, Somarda Kritashekaraha, Nilakanto Niradaro, Nirmalo Nirapallavaha, who is described as Hiranya and who is having Parashakti to his left and who is blue-throated, who is Parameshwara, who has the Chandra on his forehead and also who is described as having 3 eyes. See, these attributes are mentioned in the Kaivalya Upanishad 7th verse. Uma Sahayam, Parameshwaram Prabhum, Trilochanam, Nilakantam Prashantam, Gyatva Munirgacchati Bhotayonim, Samasta Saksham Tamasak Prastha. By meditating on him, one will cross over the repeated cycles of birth and death. And the same attributes are described in Shiva Sankalpa Upanishad, verse 25. Kailasa Shikarabasa, Himavadgiri Kanyakaha, Nilakantam, Trinetram cha, Tanme Manaha, Shiva Sankalpamastu. It says, so here it says Uma Sahayam. Here it says Himavadgiri Kanyakaha. Right? So that daughter of the Himavan is eternally with Paramashiva. Nilakantam. Here also Nilakantam comes. Trinetram cha. In Kaivalya Upanishad there is Trilochanam. In Shiva Sankalpa Upanishad there is Trinetram. That is the only difference. And here we see Umarda Vigraha Shriman, Somarda Kritashekaraha, Nilakanto Niradaro, Nirmalo Nirapallavaha, Brahma Vishnu Maheshanair, Rupasya Parameshwaraha. So here we have to understand Brahma Vishnu Maheshana. These 3 personalities are meditating on this Parashakti and Paramashiva. They are worshipping Parashakti and Paramashiva. We saw in the previous classes how Brahma, Vishnu, Rudra, he is the cause of Brahma, Vishnu, Rudra. Now Rudra is also described as the destroyer aspect of Maheshwara. We saw that in the previous lectures where Narayana is created from the left limb of Maheshwara. Brahma is created from the right limb of Maheshwara. Rudra comes from the heart of Mahadeva. It is present in the Brahmanda Purana, Vayu Purana, Kurma Purana, Vamana Purana, Varaha Purana, Narada Purana, Shiva, Linga, Skanda, Devi Bhagavata, Aditya, Parashara, Padma, etc. 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 Ayamme Dakshino Bahur, Brahma, Loka, Pita, Maha, Vamo, Bahushcha, Me, Vishnur, Nityam, Yudhyeshva, Nirjitaha. From my Vama Bhaga, Vishnu arose. From the left limb, Vishnu arose. From my Dakshina Bhaga, from the right limb, Brahma arose. From the Hridaya, Rudra arose. And that Rudra, Brahma, Vishnu, Brahma, Narayana and Rudra are worshipping that Parameshwara. That's why it says Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshanai, Rupasya, Parameshwaraha. And that's what in the Atharvashiras also it describes the same mantram comes. See? Valagra Matram, Sukshmam. He is presented as the smallest of the smallest in the heart. Hridayasya Madhye Vishwam Devam Jata Rupam Varenyam Tam Atmastam Yenu Pashyanti Dhirastesham Shantir Bhavati Netaresham. It describes. But who is that personality is described in the Suta Samhita. If you look at the Upa Brahmanam in the Puranas, it will be more detailed. Upanishads will be glorifying Mahadeva in a hidden way. But the story, actual story, who is that personality? It says in the Atharvashiras Upanishad, it says Devas went to Shiva Lokam. That's all it says. Who are the Devas? It is mentioned in the Upa Brahmanam. Brahma, Vishnu and Indra, all are Pashus, they go. And here it says Valagra Matram. We saw that Atharvashiras Upanishad, Valagra Matram Hridayasya Madhye. Here also it says Valagra Matram. That smallest of the smallest, Maheshwara, who represents the entire universe, who is beyond the universe, who is also present in the heart of all the living entities, should be meditated upon. Krit Padma Karnika Madhye. Who is that personality? It is beautifully described here. Umarda Vigraha Shriman, Somarda Kritashekaraha, Neelakanto Niradaro, Nirmalo Nirapallavaha, Brahma Vishnu Maheshanai, Rupasya Parameshwaraha. So, Upa Brahmanam in the Puranas will be more detailed. That's how you can understand what is there in the Vedas. Hope that makes sense. And then also it says Hridasta. Atharvashiras says Hridista Devataha Sarva Hridi Pranaha Pratishtitaha Hridi Tvamasi Yo Nityam Tisro Matraha Parastu Saha. And then it describes 13 beautiful names which we'll be looking at tomorrow. We'll be looking at it tomorrow. 13 beautiful names are described in the Atharvashiras Upanishad. That Mahadeva should be meditated in the heart. That's what it says. Tasyot taratah shiro dakshinataha padau ya uttarataha sa omkaraha ya omkaraha sa pranavaha ya pranavaha sa sarvavyapi ya sarvavyapi so anantaha yo anantas tat taram yat taram tat sukshmam tat shuklam yat shuklam tat vaidyutam tat param brahma sa ekaha ya ekaha sa rudraha ya rudraha yo rudraha sa ishanaha ya ishanaha sa bhagavan maheshwaraha. See, Maheshwara, Ishana, Rudra, Shambhu, Mahadeva, Shuklam, Sukshmam, Pranava, Omkara, Param, Vaidyutam. All these names are assigned by the Atharvashiras Upanishad. That Mahadeva is described as Umarda Vigraha, Neelakanta in the Suta Samhita. That personality is the personality that we should meditate upon. And that personality is called by these 13 names in the Atharvashiras Upanishad. This is how you have to understand the Upanishad. We can never understand the Upanishads without the help of the Smritis. That is the Puranas and Itihasas and the Smritis. And then as it goes on, and there are many places we saw how Mahadeva is described as residing in the heart of all the living entities. We can see some of the references and we can take up some portion in the Suta Samhita. In the Shvetashvatara Upanishad, 3rd chapter, 11th verse, Sarvanana Shirogrivaha Sarva Bhuta Guhashayaha. He is present in the heart of all the living entities. Shvetashvatara Upanishad, 3rd chapter, 13th verse, Angushta Matraha Purushontaraatma Sadajananam Hridaye Sannivishtaha Hridam Manisha Manasaviklipto Ya Etad Viduramritaste Bhavanti. He is present in the size of a thumb in the heart. Anoraniyan Mahato Mahiyan, 3rd chapter, 20th verse. He is the smallest of the smallest and the largest of the largest. Atma Guhayam Nihitosya Jantoho. He is present in the heart of all the living entities. Sadajananam Shvetashvatara Upanishad, 4th chapter, 17th verse. Sadajananam Hridaye Sannivishtaha Hridam Manisha Manasaviklipto Ya Etad Viduramritaste Bhavanti. Esha Devo Vishwakarma Mahatma. That Mahadeva is residing in the heart of all the living entities. Shvetashvatara Upanishad, 4th chapter, 20th verse. Mahanarayana Upanishad, 1st canto, 11th verse. Kathopanishad, 2nd canto, 3rd chapter, 9th verse. And also it comes in the Panchabrahma Upanishad, 19th verse. Na sandrishe tishtati rupamasya na chakshusha pashyati kaschanainam hrida hridistam manasa ya enam evam viduramritaste bhavanti. When that Mahadeva is meditated in the heart of all the living entities, you start your travel to that Pashupati. The Pashu starts his travel to Pashupati and then he attains that immortality. That is getting relieved from the repeated cycles of birth and death. Kaivalya Upanishad. Hrit Pundarikam Virajam Vishuddham Vichintya Madhye Vishatam Vishokam. Present in the heart. Asmin Brahmapure Veshma Dakharam Yedidam Mune Pundarikam Tutan Madhye Akasho Dakharostidat Pancha Brahma. Dakhram Vipapam Parame Eshva Bhutam Yat Pundarikam Puramadhya Sagumstam. Mahanarayana Upanishad. Radakam Satyam Param Brahma Purusham Krishna Pingalam. Atharvashika, we just saw that Shambhur Akasha Madhye. Atharvashiras Hridi Tvamasi Yo Nityam Tisro Matraha Parastu Saha. We saw that. Chandogyam also says that. Brihadaranyaka. Ya Esho Antarhritaya Akashaha. Taittiriya. Saya Esho Antarhritaya Akashaha. Every Upanishad describes. We saw that. Swakrit Pankaja Shayinam. Darshayamasa Devanam Murari Lingamaishwaram. Vamana Purana, first canto, 36th chapter, 23rd verse. That Vishnu is meditating in the heart on Paramashiva. That Vishnu is meditating on Paramashiva in his heart. And also in the Padma Purana, Patala Kanda, 105th chapter also, he meditates Shuddha Spatika Sankasham Trinetram Panchavaktakam Varadam Dakshino Haste Vamecha Abhayadam Vibhum. That Parameshwara, that Vishnu is meditating on that Samba Shiva and Para Shakti in his heart. Vamana Purana, Padma Purana, Agni Purana, Linga Purana, Skanda Purana, Varaha Purana, Matsya Purana, everything gives pramanam that even the Devas like Brahma, Vishnu and Indra are meditating on Parashakti and Paramashiva in their hearts. And then going on, Suta Maharishi, he goes on to say, Yat Praptayartam Vijair Veda Adiyante Samahitaihi Tameva Rudram Ishanam Dadrishustri Dashabrisham Yam Yajante Munishreshtaha Shraddaya Brahmanottamaha. He says, yeah, Brahmana, who is a Brahmana? We see like everybody are identified as like one meaning is that a Brahma Bandhu who is born from the foetus or from a Brahmana woman. That is one meaning. But Brahma Janati the Brahmana, the one who marches towards, the one who travels, the one who starts his travel to attaining that supreme reality, Mahadeva, is also called as Brahmana. We saw Jabala Maharshi, Chandogya Upanishad says, Jabala Maharshi, he goes to Gautama and he says, I want to learn the Vedas. And Gautama Maharshi asks, so I want to know about your father. Who is your father? And then Jabala Maharshi, Satyakama Jabala, he goes and asks to his mother. And his mother says, I spent my time serving as a servant maid in many places, O child. So I don't know who is your father. I'm sorry to say that. And then that child will go, Satyakama Jabala will go and say the same thing exactly to Gautama Maharshi. Gautama Maharshi will be stunned completely. Because it is a great insult if someone doesn't know who is his father. Right? So, but that child will not hesitate to say that truth to Gautama Maharshi. This is what my mother told. And Gautama Maharshi will say, you are a Brahmana. One of the qualities of a Brahmana is to say the truth. And then he will accept, and we see all the Upanishads related to Jabala Maharshi. The Jabala Maharshi, he became a great Maharshi and became a great Shiva Bhakta. Bhasma Jabala Upanishad, Brigad Jabala Upanishad, Panchakshara Jabala Upanishad, Jabala Darshana Upanishad, Rudraksha Jabala Upanishad. He was the one who gave the rules and regulations for wearing a Rudraksha. He was the one who gave the rules and regulations for doing Bhasma Dharana and Tripundra Dharana and Linga Dharana. Everything was given. He became a great Shiva Bhakta. So Brahma Janati the Brahmana, one who travels, one who starts his travel to attaining Mahadeva, he is also called as a Brahmana. Yasya Prasadat Bhagavan Vishnur Jagatpati Yasya Prasadat Bhagavan Vishnur Vishva Jagatpatihi Tameva Sarva Lokesham Dadrishuh Purushadikaha. It says that, and also Yat Prasadat Dvija Brahma Srashta Sarvasya Suvrataha Tameva Satyam Ishanam Dadrashu Sattva Samyutaha. Even Brahma and Vishnu, they have attained the positions of being Brahma and Vishnu by the grace of Parashakti and Paramashiva. That's what it says. Suta Maharishi says that in Suta Samhita, 2nd chapter. Vishnu has become the maintainer and also Brahma has become the creator. Srishti Sthiti. Srishti means the creation. Sthiti means the maintenance. They have become the creator and maintainer by the grace of Parashakti and Paramashiva, and we'll be reviewing some of the beautiful references from the Shastras which describes Brahma and Vishnu, how they have attained the positions, their positions. In Atharvashiras also it says in the starting that Mahadeva is present in the heart of Brahma. Yovai Rudraksa Bhagavan Yascha Brahma Tasmai Vai Namo Namaha. Yovai Rudraksa Bhagavan Yascha Vishnus Tasmai Vai Namo Namaha. He is present in the heart of Vishnu and Indra also. Atharvashika says Brahma Vishnu Rudrendra Ste Samprasuyante. Brahma Vishnu and Indra are bound to destruction. And here one doubt might arise. Here Rudra also comes, right? But we have to understand that is only Kala Rudra. We saw that Brahma Vishnu Rudra Maheshwara Samba Shiva Paramashiva. Brahma Narayana Rudra Maheshwara Samba Shiva Paramashiva. So Brahma, Narayana and Indra are bound to destruction. But Rudra, after completing, though he is also described as having the partial spark of Paramashiva. So his duty is to destroy the universe and then he merges back into Paramashiva. But Brahma, Vishnu and Indra keep changing. They are bound to destruction. That's what Atharvashika says. Shambhur Akasham again. Who is that personality who is without, who is not bound by Papa Punya, who is not bound by Karma or Anava or Mala, who is not bound by the Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, Gunas, who is eternal, who doesn't have birth, who is not affected by birth, old age, disease and death. And that Shambhu is described as that personality who should be meditated in the heart. Kaivalya Upanishad describes Brahma and Vishnu to be Vibhudis of Paramashiva. Bhasmajabala Upanishad says Harihara Hiranyagarbha Srashtaram Aprameyam Anadyantam. Brahma, Vishnu and Rudra arise from Mahadeva. That's what it says. He is the cause of Brahma, Vishnu and Rudra. Bhasmajabala. Brihajabala beautifully describes how Vishnu meditates, how Vishnu applies the holy ashes. Tato Bhasma Bhakshayeti Harimaha Harastataha Bhakshayishya Shivam Bhasma Snatvaham Bhasmanapura. Brihajabala 6th Brahmana 7th verse. And Padma Purana, Patala Kanda, 105th chapter, 223rd verse describes how Vishnu does Bhasma Snana, applies the holy ashes all over his body and then meditates on Paramashiva. He also eats the sacred ash. Bhasma Bhaksha. And then Katarudra, Askaivananda Koshena Stambanta Vishnu Purvakaha. From the blade of a grass till Vishnu, everything is bound to destruction. Mahanarayana. Namo Hiranyabhagave, Hiranyavarnaya, Hiranyarupaya, Hiranyapataye, Ambikapataye, Umapataye, Pashupataye Namo Namaha. And then Tvam Indrastvam, Rudrastvam, Vishnustvam, Brahmatvam, Prajapatistvam, Tadapa Apo Jyotiraso, Amritam Brahma Bhur Bhuvasvarom. You are that, your manifestations are Indra, Brahma, Narayana and Rudra. That's what it says. And Shiva Sankalpa, Paraat Parataro Brahma, Tat Paraat Parato Harihi, Tat Paraat Parato Ishastan Manas Shiva Sankalpamasto. He is beyond Brahma and Vishnu. That's how it is described. Mahadeva. The highest of the highest. Pancha Brahma. Avastha Tritiyatitam Turiyam Brahma Samnitam Brahma Vishnavadibihi Sevyam Sarvesham Janakam Param. He gives Janakam to Brahma and Vishnu. And we saw that Rigvedam verse also. It describes how 996.5, 9th canto, 96th chapter, 5th verse, it describes how Vishnu has birth. Brahma, Vishnu, Indra, Agni, everyone arise from that Para Shakti and Paramashiva. Bhasmajabala has also an equivalent verse similar to that Rigveda verse. And then Rigveda, 5th canto, 3rd chapter, 3rd verse. Tabashariye maruto marjayanta rudrayatte janima charu chitram padam yat vishnur upamam nidayi tena pasi guhyam namagonam. Quoted by our dear Nagalinga Garu. He says that Mahadeva is described as Charu Chitram, resplendent, shining, golden complexioned Mahadeva. By worshipping him and Parashakti, Vishnu attained the post of being Vaikuntapati. Vishnu is a post, he says, and then he gives the Upa Brahmanam in Parashara Puranam. Raudram Lingam Mahavishnur Bhaktya Shuddham Shilamayam. By worshipping, Parashara Upapuranam gives that Upa Brahmanam. Vishnu acquired 4 things. By worshipping Mahadeva, he acquired the post of being Vishnu. He acquired Vaikunta. He acquired prosperity. And he also got Lakshmi as his wife. These are the things. And then Brahma also, by worshipping Mahadeva, he became the creator. That's what is it. Brahma Sarva Jagatkarta Yasya Lingarchanena tu. By worshipping Bharatim Praptavanashu Sapudyaha Sarva Chaitanaihi. See, Brahma acquired Saraswati as his wife by worshipping Mahadeva. Vishnu acquired Lakshmi as his wife by worshipping Mahadeva. Yasya Lingam Samabhyarchya Swavartur Vallabha Bhavat. It says, And then many places it says Brahmatvam, Keshavatvam, Shakratvam, Anushasana Parvam, 18th chapter, 64th verse says, Upamanyu Maharshi says, one can attain the post of Brahma, Vishnu and Indra by the grace of Paramashiva. Brahmatvam, Lokapalatvam, Shakratvam, Varaha Puranam, 213th chapter, Nandi says, I am not interested in the positions of Brahma, Vishnu and Indra. Andhakasura, in the Skanda Purana, 5th canto, 1st section, 38th chapter, 28th verse, he says, I am not interested in the positions of Brahma, Vishnu and Indra, O Maheshwara. I just need Sanidhyam, eternal service to your feet. And then Krishna says to Lord Shiva, Harivamsha Purana, 2nd canto, 74th chapter, 34th verse, Aham Brahma Kapilo Yopyanantak Putraha Sarve Brahmanascha Tiviraha. Everyone, including Brahma, Anantasesha, Kapila, myself, everybody emanate from you only, O Parashakti and Paramashiva. You are the only one who is worthy to be praised. He says that finally. Karanatma Tvamidyaha. Evam Sarveshaha Karanatma. You are the cause of all causes. Tvamidyaha. You are that personality. And there are many, many places in the Shastras which describes how Skanda Purana, 4th canto, Kashikandam, 1st section, 13th chapter, 9th verse. Jivatma named Putatma says to Lord Shiva, Devadeva Mahadeva Devanam Abhayaprada Brahma Narayana Indradi Sarvadeva Padaprada. O Mahadeva, who is the God of gods, who is the Ishvara of Ishvaras, one who grants Abhaya to his devotees, you can also grant the positions of Brahma, Narayana and Indra. Tvat Adi Stamba Paryantam Rudra Shakti Vijirambitam. Everything from the blade of a grass till Vishnu perishes. And then that's what here Suta Maharishi says, one, Brahma and Vishnu have acquired the post of being, have acquired the post of the being the creator and maintainer by worshipping Mahadeva. Atate tushtuvur devaha sambam sarva falapradam samsara roga dukkasya peshajam gadgadaswaraha. Sambam. That Mahadeva should be meditated in the heart of all. That Mahadeva is present in the heart of all the living entities. That Mahadeva, by meditating on him, one will transcend the repeated cycles of birth and death. That's what it says. So I will stop here and then I'll chant the Kshama Prarthana mantra. And there is a beautiful explanation. As I mentioned before, there are 13 names mentioned in the Atharvashiras Upanishad for Mahadeva, which we'll be seeing. And also, after completing this Maha Paashupata Vratam, because we see the Devas, including Brahma, Vishnu and Indra, they practice the Maha Paashupata Vratam, Atyashrama Vratam or Shambhavam or Shiro Vratam by applying ashes all over their body and meditating in the Hrit Padma Karnika. They meditate on that Paramashiva and Parashakti in their hearts. And the beautiful features, characteristics and divine qualities of Mahadeva are described. And then Mahadeva appears in front of them again. So we will be seeing what he says to the Devas tomorrow. And also we'll be looking at the 13 names, beautiful names of Mahadeva from the Atharvashiras Upanishad. And what is the benefit of chanting Atharvashiras Upanishad. So, यदक्षरपदभृष्टं मात्राहीनं तु यद्भवेत् तत्सर्वं क्षम्यतां देव परमेश्वर नमोऽस्तु ते विसर्गबिन्दुमात्राणि पदपादाक्षराणि च न्यूनानि चातिरिक्तानि क्षमस्व परमेश्वर अपराधसहस्राणि क्रियन्ते हर्निशं मया दासोऽयमिति मां मत्वा क्षमस्व परमेश्वर अन्यथा शरणं नास्ति त्वमेव शरणं मम तस्मात् कारुण्यभावेन रक्ष रक्ष परमेश्वरी अन्यथा शरणं नास्ति त्वमेव शरणं मम तस्मात् कारुण्यभावेन रक्ष रक्ष परमेश्वर एतत् सर्वं श्री उमामहेश्वर परब्रह्मार्पणमस्तु ललिताम्बिके साम्ब शिवार्पणमस्तु श्रीमती गौरी समेत साम्ब शिवार्पणमस्तु करचरणकृतं वाक्कायजं कर्मजं वा श्रवणनयनजं वा मानसं वा अपराधं विहितम् अविहितं वा सर्वम् एतत् क्षमस्व जय जय करुणा अब्दे श्री महादेव शम्भो माता च पार्वती देवी पिता देवो महेश्वर बन्धवा शिवभक्तांश्च स्वदेशो भुवनत्रयं साम्ब शिवाय नमः साम्ब शिवाय नमः साम्ब शिवाय नमः हर ओं तत्सत्